This book highlights how negotiation comes up in your everyday life. It walks you through several techniques that'll arm you with the confidence and skills to make the most out of your negotiations, and keep your losses to a minimum. Every time there are two or more people who want different outcomes from the same situation, negotiation comes into play. There are lots of ways to negotiate, but the most effective techniques incorporate human nature. The main point is this: people act instinctively, emotionally, and irrationally. There's one key technique to negotiating effectively, and that's listening. In order to gain knowledge of how a person thinks and feels, you have to listen actively, strategically, and empathetically. Trust is a key element in negotiation. It'll give you information about how the other person thinks and feels. And by understanding their wants and needs, you'll be able to predict how they'll act. This is where active listening comes in. By actively listening to your counterpart, you'll achieve two things. First, you'll stop listening to your own irrational biases. And second, you'll make the person in front of you feel safe. You'll start talking about their wants, which will help you discover their needs. Empathy, more precisely, tactical empathy, is key to keeping a negotiation open and forward-moving. Empathy entails trying to understand what another person is feeling. It's putting yourself in their shoes. Tactical empathy is all this and more. It involves trying to hear what's behind those feelings so you can increase your influence on them. It's emotional intelligence combined with strategic thinking. Essentially, saying no allows you to clarify what you want and don't want. It gives you control, kicks off the negotiation, and hands you the lead. When you say no, you temporarily protect yourself by providing space to consider options in a relaxed way. No buys you time, and time gives you opportunities to persuade your counterpart into accepting your position. But your counterpart also has the right to say no, and that's a good thing. By letting them conserve their autonomy, you give them the illusion of control. Maybe you've been taught that the best outcome for a conflict is one where both parties meet halfway, or split the difference. But this can lead to dissatisfaction for everyone involved. Meeting halfway also exposes you to the possibility of being pushed into a corner. That's why we're going to explore ways to avoid compromise, and instead create leverage in your favor. First tool is time. By establishing deadlines, you can force your counterpart to make rushed decisions because they're afraid of losing something in the future. The second tool is fairness. When you say you want to be fair, you let the other person know you're taking them into account from the beginning, which boosts our old friend, trust. As a metaphor, a black swan represents the discovery of something unforeseen, surprising, presumed to be impossible. In most negotiations, there's some information about your counterpart that you know for sure, like their name or offer. Then there are things that you know exist or are probable, like the possibility of your counterpart leaving the negotiation altogether. Finally, there are things you don't know, unimaginable information that would completely twist the outcome. These are the black swans. The best you can do is to stay flexible and never overvalue your experience or your knowledge. Thank you for watching. Please grab your copies now. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more book discussions.